Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's video topic comes as a result of some of the most recent statements by Jeannie Mai. She is one of the co-hosts of The Real, and this is about her wanting to submit to her soon-to-be husband, Young Jeezy. Now, this episode actually started out with Jeannie introducing the topic of Coney Barrett as it relates to or conflicts with her alleged religious view that a woman's job is to submit to her husband. So let's just take a quick look at this.
USA Today recently reported that President Trump's nominee for the U.S. Supreme Court, Coney Barrett, has close ties to a Christian religious group called People of Praise, who reportedly teach that it's a wife's job to submit to the will of her husband, as the Bible teaches. So far, Barrett has declined to publicly discuss her affiliation with People of Praise. I did not even know this existed. But this week, Matthew Cochran of The Federalist defended this viewpoint, arguing that equality in marriage only breeds resentment, and that just because a woman is submissive to her man doesn't mean it will hold her back in life, highlighting Amy's potential new job as evidence of that.
Now, after introducing the topic, her co-host Adrian Bailon Houghton, she discussed her viewpoint, stating that the idea of submitting is from a biblical point of view, and it is ancient, it is old, it was from back then, and it doesn't necessarily apply to the times now, right? She mentioned that at the end of the day, it's a woman's choice on whether or not she assumes that role, and that relationships are a give and take that require both partners to be able to work together to be viewed as equal. Now, that being said, Jeannie Mai closed with this statement, and in a sense, this was her response. And seeing the reactions of her co-host was so interesting. Lonnie, she seemed taken aback. Everybody kind of seemed taken aback by what Jeannie had to say. So let's take a quick look at this.
There are people who are bosses in their workplace, and then they want to come home and let their husband lead. That again is their choice. That is not them being submissive.
Right.
That is them
That's
choosing
what I'm talking about. It's about
that
the
that's what they
couple's
want.
decision.
It's a difference.
Right.
That's right. So the actual definition of submit is to accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. So I'm gonna say right here that I, Jeannie Mai, going into my marriage, I want to submit to my man.
So after seeing this, we want to ask ourselves, what is really submitting? Now, Jeannie Mai already mentioned the textbook definition of submitting. Naturally, when you're in a relationship, submission follows, naturally. It should never be forced. It should come as second nature. Submitting is yielding to desires without resistance, whereas in a lot of relationships, we tend to see surrendering, and surrendering is being forced to do so. A lot of times, men tend to weaponize the word submission, and of course, that stems from a level of misogyny, flat out hate for women, and the disagreement that women deserve and have rights and their own opinions and thoughts, because we're also human beings. And it also stems from just flat out power and control scare tactics. It's no secret that some men, not all, but a large majority, just want a modern day slave. Someone who cooks for them, looks after them, cleans after them, assists them with everything, and follow them blindly without opinion nor opposition. So I'll leave you with this food for thought. In order to submit, your man must possess certain important qualities. Otherwise, what is the point of submitting? And I had some time to think about this because I just love this topic, and I love speaking about relationships in general and finding a high value man, a man that possesses these qualities that you know that they are a well-rounded individual and that they are relationship/marriage material. Do I consider Young Jeezy to be a high value man? I don't really know much about him, but I, just from the outside looking in, I may not think that. However, Jeannie Mai probably sees the qualities in him that would make her feel as though, yes, this is the person that I need to submit to. She was married for 10 years before getting with Jeezy. with Young Jeezy. And she never really expressed that want for being in that role, that submissive role. She even made mention that she is a person that is so controlling or leading in other aspects of her life that she just wants to come home to a man that she knows could lead and take care of his family. And I don't give her wrong at all. I don't see why anybody would want to disagree with that or put her down for that.
But what I really learned in my life for my definition of marriage, I'm not saying what I want works for everybody. I'm saying for me, I'm a very dominant woman. I own my business. I lead my teams. I played my own manager, my own publicist, my own lawyer when I didn't have money to have those people. So I make the decisions in my life. When I come home, I like the idea that my man leads us. That doesn't mean that in this case, Jay makes all the decisions for us. That doesn't mean that when he says, how are we spending our money or where are we moving, that I just say, yes, sir, or yes, your honor. Like, it's not that. It's a, you know what? I think that we would do best here. I want to do this. And he takes the decision, he formulates it with our overall vision, and he leads us. And I like to submit to that. I don't want to lead in our household and in our marriage. I want him to lead, and I have all the essence of what I bring as a wife to make that decision, but that I love that my husband will be the man that leads. I like that structure in a marriage, and I look forward to that because girls, it's tiring being the boss of me. It's tiring leading all the time in my life.
All the time. It's tired to be the boss of that all the time.
Yeah.
Adrian.
I don't like labels. I don't like labels. I don't like. I don't. And
I agree.
I just hope that, you know, the thing is that, like I said, what people do in their relationship is fine, but I don't want to be taken outside. And sometimes men tend to feel like, well, this is how a woman is supposed to act. And if I'm working with you as a person on the outside, don't treat me like whatever your marriage is. I don't want that. I am my own person. Treat me like an equal. That's the only problem I have with that. What you do in your marriage,
I hear you, Lonnie.
But when outside, don't treat me like I'm your wife, because I'm not.
So after watching this part of the clip, I was honestly floored. I was like, wow, the defensiveness in Lonnie. Now, a lot of women, and you can't really fault people for this, but a lot of times women tend to really bask in their masculinity and their domineering nature. And this is, I don't even want to get too controversial, but it is very common in black women. I myself being a black woman and seeing other people in my community, on media, everywhere, I see how easy it is for us to step into that masculine role, especially when we're not accustomed to having the representation and having our men fulfill that role. We tend to take over and jump into our masculinity, and we never rest in our divine feminine. I found this really interesting to see how defensive and totally dismissive she was of the fact. A lot of the co-hosts weren't necessarily in agreement with it, but Lonnie in particular, she came across very strongly, in my opinion, about the way she felt about it. And there's nothing wrong with not wanting to fall into that type of relationship structure within your relationship. But at the end of the day, you know, I find absolutely nothing wrong with what Jeannie Mai said.
No, but I want to say this. I want to say this to all my sisters out there. I want to say this to all my sisters out there that feel me when I say that you can be dominant or you are the leader in your life and you make all the decisions. When you are coupled with a man, men inherently, if you got a good man, want to lead and want to protect you. I'm going to tell you from experience. If you dominate so much that you actually kind of take over in your own household, that you don't give him room to feel like a man, fill in the blank however you want, you strip him of being able to do what it is he does well, and it changes the dynamic of your
That's not true, Jeannie.
In ways
Jeannie,
that you may
that's
not have
not
expected.
true.
I don't know about that, Jeannie. I don't know about that.
I don't think that's true.
And in terms of what she said with men and them not being able to do what is inherently natural to them, things start to break down within the relationship. And it's true, men are built to take on that role of provider and protector. If you don't let them lead, then you would have a clash. I'm not saying that two people can't be strong or two people can't have their own opinions, but at the end of the day, in order to have a successful relationship with successful relationship dynamics and to be able to relate with each other, two people cannot be butting heads, as well as two people cannot want to take on the exact same role. So we have the dynamic like this. Women are generally seen as the one who is more steadfast and they would reason with you, yes. Women tend to provide that sense of support and guidance, yes, we know this. But then, as Jeannie even mentioned, after you give all your thoughts and opinions, it's up to the man to take those ideas along with his own and formulate something that gives a good compromise and just works for the both of you all together. Because when you get married, as the Bible says, it's like two becomes one, two flesh becomes one. You have a unit now. So you don't want to be clashing heads or have one person that's so much stronger in personality than the other. You want to be able to work together. Sometimes most times the best way of doing that would be to have your husband take on that leadership role. It's not to say that you both wouldn't get your point across and work together, but it's a matter of letting him take the initiative after you all discuss whatever you would have discussed. A lot of people made the comment too, I saw one or two comments saying that she didn't want to submit to her husband by having his child, and now she want to play she's submitting to Young Jeezy. But at the end of the day, you can't correlate those two things. They are very different, right? In order to submit, the qualities that your man, your husband, your future husband should possess are the following, right? He needs to be financially stable. And not just financially stable, but thriving. He needs to be the type of person that looks for the best opportunity that best suits his family as well as suits him. You don't want him to be stressed or worried. He needs to be comfortable and secure in his future because his future represents his family's future. He needs to have common sense. Oh my gosh. If he cannot apply basic common sense to different situations and you are the one who has to reason everything, why allow him to lead you? You can't even trust his judgment. He needs to definitely be a protector. Someone that ensures the safety of both you and your family. And of course, he needs to be loving and caring, have your best interests at heart. And of course, I couldn't say this enough, but he needs to be a good listener. And why? He needs to not only consider your opinion, but value your opinions. And this almost goes without saying, but he needs to be trustworthy, sincere, among many other qualities that make up a good human being and a good partner. If the person that you're looking towards marriage with, if they don't have these basic qualities, what is the point of getting into a marriage with them? What is the point of wanting them to lead? Can you trust him or whoever it is that you're with to lead the relationship, to lead your marriage? Would you trust a known thief with all of your possessions? Would you trust a pedophile to babysit your child? Would you believe someone who lies to you every day? So think about it. Why would you trust a man with your life and with your life decisions who doesn't even have the basic qualities of being able to properly provide, protect, and support and love you? Just think about this for a moment. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that this food for thought was well served. And I wish you all the best in your relationship, whether it's current or your future relationship. And these are things that we really need to think about. So again, thanks for watching. I hope that you guys subscribe to my channel. I would love to bring more videos like this for you. So yes, and do give this video a thumbs up because it will help very much, with the whole YouTube algorithm and stuff. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye bye.